Okay, so hey everyone out there. In 2025, it's way.
Hey.
But let me ask you something. Does it still feel like you're running on that hamster wheel at work?
Hmm.
Or maybe your business is doing all right, at least on paper, but you know underneath. There's that feeling you can't shake, like you're constantly trading hours for dollars and not even sure if it's a fair trade. Kind of a drained feeling.
Yeah, it's amazing how that feeling just doesn't go away. It's that sense of imbalance between what we put in and what we get back. So the ideas we're diving into today are actually from a book that's been around for a while, Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez, written ages ago, really. But what's crazy is how relevant these ideas still are even now in 2025. I mean, think about it. AI changing everything, the economy being unpredictable. It's like everyone's asking for our attention all the time.
Totally. And look, we're not doing a boring book report here. We've really gone deep into this classic to give you a plan that works, a roadmap specifically for 2025, no fluff. This is your shortcut to understanding this really important link between money and what we call your life energy. We really want you to walk away with things you can actually use today to build a better bank balance, sure, but more importantly, a life you love that's fulfilling and independent.
So, how do we start taking control of this life energy? The book really pushes this idea that you got to know where you stand right now. You can't plan a trip if you don't know where you're starting from, right? And that's our first big takeaway. We've got to make peace with our financial past and get a clear picture of where we are financially right now.
Okay, so let's break that down. I know it sounds a bit intense, but honestly, it feels really good to do this. The main idea is you have to understand where you are financially before you can make any big changes. And to do that, you need to figure out two numbers. Your total lifetime earnings, basically all the money you made in your life, and then your net worth, which is everything you own minus everything you owe. Simple.
It's kind of shocking how many people just go through life without knowing these numbers.
Hmm.
They know their monthly income, but they haven't really thought about how much they've earned over their lifetime or have a clear picture of what they own versus what they owe. And not knowing these things in 2025, it can be a real problem.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look around. We've got more entrepreneurs than ever, tons of people piecing together income from different gigs. And, AI could change anyone's career at any moment. So knowing your baseline, that solid truth about your finances, it's super important for making realistic plans and goals. It's like clearing out the mental clutter so you can build a solid foundation.
So let's give our listeners something they can do right now to get this financial snapshot. What's the first step?
Okay, action item number one for 2025 is to calculate your net worth this month. I'm serious. Put it on your calendar. Get a spreadsheet or a budgeting app. Write down everything you own, your savings, your investments, the current value of your car, any equity you have in your home. And then this is the important part. Subtract everything you owe. Mortgage, car loans, credit cards, student loans, the whole deal. Be honest with yourself. The number you get, that's your net worth. It's just a number, but man, it tells a story.
What about the second part, figuring out those lifetime earnings?
I know it sounds like a lot, but the book says just start with what you can easily find, like your tax returns or income statements from the past few years, even just going back 3 to 5 years and seeing that total amount, all the money that's passed through your hands. It can be a real wake-up call. And don't worry about being perfect here. The main goal is to just become aware of your financial history.
And knowing where you've been financially, brings us to the next step, figuring out the real cost of all that money. We've got to track our life energy and understand our true hourly wage.
Okay, this is where things got really interesting for me. This was a total game changer. The basic idea is that money, it's not just numbers in an account. It actually represents the hours of your life that you've traded to get it. Precious hours.
Yeah.
So the book asks us to look beyond our salary or hourly rate and calculate our real hourly wage. And that means including all those hidden costs related to our jobs, the stuff we usually don't even think about.
It's wild how much these hidden costs can eat away at what we think we're making. Think about your day, your commute, even if it's just to your home office. That's time spent on work. Then there's the clothes you have to buy for work, the lunches you grab because you're too busy to cook, the time you need to unwind after a stressful day. It's all connected to your job.
Exactly. And in 2025, this is even more important. Whether you're freelancing, doing gigs, working remotely, or have a side hustle, this is for you. Those remote work perks everyone talks about. Are they costing you more in home office expenses? Or leading to longer hours because work and life are all blended together now? Is that high-paying client worth those late-night emails and the mental drain?
It's about asking yourself, is this really worth it? The real hourly wage gives you a way to make better choices about how you spend your time, which is the most valuable thing you have. It makes you think about the real costs.
Okay, so here's what you can do about it. Action item number 2 for 2025. A two-part mission for the next week. First, track all the time you spend on work. And I mean all of it. Your commute, even if it's just to your desk, the time you spend getting ready because of work, anytime you're thinking about work outside of work hours, even checking emails before bed, and how long it takes you to unwind after a long day. Be honest with yourself. What does work really cost you in time?
And the second part, it's about the money. For that same week, track every dollar you spend because of your job. Work clothes, coffee to stay focused, lunches you buy because you're too busy, even those little treats you get after a rough week. No judgment, just write it down.
Then, here's the math. Take your gross pay for the week, subtract all those job-related expenses, and divide that number by the total hours you worked, plus all those extra job-related hours you tracked. Now compare that number to what you thought you were making per hour. I think you'll be surprised. Even Elon Musk, someone who works like crazy, is aware of how much of his life he's putting into his work. The key is to be aware of that trade-off for yourself. This real hourly wage, this is your new tool to help you decide how you spend your time and energy.
Now that you have a clearer picture of what you're actually earning for every hour of your life, let's figure out where all that energy is going, right? Because that money represents your life energy. And that leads us to the third thing you can do, the monthly tabulation. It's all about becoming aware of your spending, not just trying to stick to some budget that doesn't work.
Yes. This is where you start to see the patterns. It's really simple. You track every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. But here's the difference. Instead of trying to make your spending fit into categories that someone else made up, you make your own categories based on where your money actually goes, the things that are important to you. It's about being aware, not about restriction.
And in 2025, with how easy it is to spend money without thinking. This is so important. We're surrounded by things that make us spend without even realizing it. One-click purchases, ads everywhere, subscriptions that renew automatically. Tracking your spending helps you fight back against all of that.
Exactly. When you see where your money's going, and remember, that money represents your time, your life energy, you can start to make your spending match what you actually care about in 2025. Maybe it's learning new skills to stay ahead, supporting companies that are good for the planet, or choosing experiences over buying more stuff. This helps you break free from those budgets that just don't work.
Okay, so here's the plan for 2025. It's simple, but you have to stick with it. For the next month, get a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app and write down every time you spend money. Every coffee, every subscription, even if it's just a few dollars, write it all down.
Then, at the end of the month, don't try to force your spending into those generic budget categories. Look at where your money actually went and make your own categories. Be specific. Instead of just food, maybe you have groceries, restaurants, coffee shops. Or maybe you'll have categories like streaming, online courses, donations, hobbies. The more specific, the better.
And the last step for this monthly check-in is to take each category and convert those dollars into hours of life energy, using that real hourly wage you calculated earlier. Remember, this isn't about feeling bad about how you spend your money. It's about seeing the truth. Like looking in a mirror.
And once you see where all your life energy is going each month, the next question is, are you getting enough back for it? Are you spending your energy on things that make you happy? And that brings us to the fourth big idea, the fulfillment curve, and this idea of enough.
This is really powerful. The book says there's a point where spending money makes you happier, but only up to a point. There's a sweet spot, a point of enough. If you keep spending beyond that, it doesn't make you happier. It actually does the opposite. More stress, more stuff, and you end up less satisfied.
And this is so true in 2025, especially if you're doing well financially. Like if you're a business owner who's growing or you're making more money online, it's easy to start thinking you need more just because you have more. Lifestyle creep, they call it. But we're constantly told that more equals success. And it's all over social media, those perfect lives. So we have to decide what enough means for us based on our values, not what other people are doing.
Learning to be content with enough is so important for success and happiness that lasts. It helps you avoid burnout, save money for the things that really matter, and have more mental space for the things you care about. It's about living intentionally.
Okay, so here's your 2025 action plan for figuring out your own enough. Go back to that monthly list you made where you converted everything into hours of life energy. Now look at each category and ask yourself a few questions. First, did you actually get as much enjoyment as the energy you spent? Was it worth it? If it was, give it a plus. If not, a minus. If it was so-so, a 0.
Then ask yourself, does this spending match my values, my big goals in life? Again, plus, minus, or 0.
And this last question is really interesting. Imagine you didn't have to work for money anymore. Would you spend more, less, or the same in this category? Another plus, minus, or 0. Doing this every month, it's like training your brain to recognize enough. You'll start to see where you're wasting energy on things that don't matter and what truly brings you joy and matches your values. Think about people like Matt D'Avella. He's built a whole career around living intentionally and figuring out what enough really means in a world that's obsessed with having more.
And as you get better at this, spending your energy on things that align with your values and understanding this idea of enough, you'll naturally start to save more money. And those savings, that's what brings us to the fifth and final step. We need to understand and visualize the crossover point. That's when you're on your way to financial independence.
Yeah, the crossover point. This is where it gets real. The idea is this. You save money consistently and you invest that money wisely. The crossover point is when the money your investments make is more than your monthly expenses. That's financial independence.
What's cool is that in 2025, financial independence isn't just about retiring early anymore. Careers aren't as straightforward as they used to be, and technology is changing everything. So reaching, or even just visualizing your crossover point, it's about being flexible and feeling secure.
I agree. Even if it seems far off, knowing the crossover point is out there, it changes how you feel about your work. You have choices. You have power. You can choose work that you love, not just work that pays the bills. It's a safety net for these crazy times we live in.
So here's your action plan for getting on the path to independence. First, figure out how much you save each month. That's your income minus your expenses.
Then, take your total savings and estimate how much money those savings could make if you invested them. Just for this exercise, assume a safe, long-term return, maybe around 4% per year. Then divide that yearly income by 12 to get a monthly number. Remember, this is just a guess for now.
Now, the most important part. Create a picture in your mind, or even draw a simple chart. One line shows your monthly expenses, staying pretty much the same. The other line shows the money your investments are making, growing over time. Now picture that moment when the investment line crosses above your expenses. That's the crossover point. Even if you just estimate when that might happen based on your savings and potential investment growth, it can be really motivating. It reminds you why you're doing all of this.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the main message from your money or your life for you in 2025 is not about cutting back on everything or feeling deprived. It's about changing how you think about money, seeing it as your life energy. When you track where your energy goes, decide what enough means to you, and understand the real cost of earning money, you go from feeling like money controls you to being in control of your money. And that's the key to being financially independent and building a life and a career that not only survive in 2025, but truly thrive.
We want to hear from you. What's the one thing from today that you're going to do this week? Are you going to calculate your net worth, track your real hourly wage, or ask yourself those enough questions? Let us know in the comments. Let's put all of this into action together.
And if you like this and want more deep dives into the books and strategies that will help you succeed in 2025, both financially and personally, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be glad you did. Keep building a life that truly reflects what's important to you.
And before we go, here's something to think about. Now that you know how much life energy you're spending, what's one thing you can change in your life to get more time and more fulfillment, no matter how much money you make?